$200,000 in commission I had sent away. If you're looking to start your own brokerage, I would do it again. I don't regret it.
This business constantly changes. The Mastering the Mortgage Business podcast is really just people who know what they're doing and have done it really well. Well, welcome back to Mastering the Mortgage Business. And I've got Sean Aspenlind here as our guest, and he is the co-owner of Thrive Lending and also a successful producing loan officer. So thanks, Sean, for being on our show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what even is it to own your own mortgage company? What does that mean? It's, are you a bank, a mortgage broker? There's all these different terminologies that get thrown around. So what are you? What do you do?
Yeah. So Thrive Lending is set up as an independent mortgage brokerage. So we are a broker. I started in Roseville, California, where I'm from, with a small brokerage there and learned a lot. And then I went after that, be there for about 2 years. I went to a retail platform with Movement Mortgage, seeing the smaller scale brokerage bank and then like a large retail national bank, kind of had both, not extremes, but both sides of the spectrum when it came to that being a mortgage banker, a mortgage broker. I just found for myself that having now done this for 7 or 8 years, loan originating, I just felt the most comfortable. Now the last 2 years, my business partner and I have launched Thrive, and it's been wild. It's been great and crazy. It just comes to a new set of challenges. There's things I'm learning every day, In the last 2 years, we've expanded our company to 8 states. So a lot of new stuff that I didn't expect to have to learn or deal with as well, now being the owner.
Yeah, I definitely want to touch on that. And I want to know, share with our listeners about the challenges of those things. But I'm really curious, where were you? Were you just with your business partner, like in a garage, like, we got to start our own mortgage company? Or were you just sitting in the office one day? Like, how do you go from working for a mortgage company to being like, hey, let's do our own thing?
Definitely a leap of faith, and it's been challenging, especially in the market we're in, where things have slowed overall. As we grow, we're trying to focus on loan officer retention with our team, building culture with our team, and recruiting the right people to join our team. We're just trying to keep our expenses low right now and, be wise in the midst of this current market we're in.
You started in California, which is an incredible state to do mortgages in, and then obviously started adding other states. So what did that look like? How did you decide what states to add? Is that a difficult process?
Right around the time we launched Thrive, shortly after, my wife and I decided to move our family from Northern California to the Nashville, Tennessee area. So Tennessee was natural. Like we applied for Tennessee. Our company was approved within, I think it took like less than 30 days, which was nice. So we had California and Tennessee. And then I was starting to look through the past year or two of all the referrals I'd sent out to other loan officers for clients who were moving or buying investment property in Florida and South Carolina. And I did the math, and it was right around like $200,000 in commission that I had sent away. And now that we had launched Thrive, now we're like, okay, well, where's everyone trying to buy in and where's everyone moving to? So then we added Florida. Florida's a hot state. We added South Carolina, another hot state in the South. So now we had Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, California. We had a team up in Ohio who wanted a husband and wife that wanted to join our team. So we got licensed in Ohio. Being from California, still do quite a few loans in California, and I'm growing here in Tennessee. I've gotten quite a few clients looking to move to Texas. So we added Texas. A couple of our loan officers have roots where they grew up in Washington. So after like 3 or 4 had told us, hey, I've got family and friends in Washington, and like I'd love to be able to help them out. And after 3 or 4 told us the same thing, we're like, okay, great, let's get Washington. There's a reason to get it. So it's kind of a mixture of need within our company with our loan officers with states they're looking for, mixed with where's everyone moving to? No offense to Chicago, but a lot of people I talk to are leaving Chicago. It's just part of it. A lot of people are leaving California. A lot of people are leaving New York. Those are the top three I tend to see consistently, with people leaving to go to Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina type of states.
Which one would you say is the hardest state to lend in, or was the hardest state to get approved so far?
I think Washington. Thankfully, my business partner, he handles compliance. He had to take a very challenging test on behalf of Thrive as one of the owners for us too, and he had to put quite a bit of time into it because it's its own Washington state exam. It's not like a federal test. We all got our NMLS license. I know there's some states that require brick and mortar. We're not going to mess with New York probably ever. I don't think we even could if we wanted to. I've heard that Arizona, they're a state that used to require brick and mortar. Texas used to require brick and mortar, and now they don't, which is how we got licensed in Texas. So each state has its own nuances, and but most of the time, in general, they all require similar things, and insurance set up. They want to vet the companies. We have to provide all of our financial documentation in a package, and all that stuff. But relatively, it takes probably anywhere from 30 to 90 days, depending on the state.
Okay, that's not too bad. And I recommend Arizona, by the way. That's my stomping grounds. So, beautiful state, right? You got the desert and the mountains and the water, believe it or not. People are surprised by how many lakes are there. So if a loan officer wanted to join your company, and let's say they were in a state that you didn't do loans in, should they still reach out to you? Are you open to being in other states? And what kind of people are you looking for on your team?
For me, it's more about the fit of the person. We do a few interviews. It's not just a one-time call or a one-time Zoom. Usually I'll be the front person to talk, and then if it's something that progresses, then I'll bring in Brandon. We'll both hop on, and then we'll just answer. Really, my goal is to get to know that person and answer their questions. And for me, integrity is like the biggest thing. So for us, we decided, hey, we're not going to market to new loan officers, but we're also not opposed if it's the right fit, the right person, someone we feel good about, someone that's going to be coachable. Because I do the sales training for our team. I'm the sales, I pour into our team, and I show them, hey, in 90 days, here's what you do, and you will have business, and you will grow your business, and you will close loans. This is what we do.
Yeah. So tell me about something that maybe your coach, you mentioned, doing coaching. I love coaching as well. I think if you're going to be a loan officer, it's really a good idea to be working with a coach or a mentor in your office. And I know you mentioned you started working for a company where they own their own brokerage. So between any mentors that you've had or any of your coaches, I know, we're getting nuggets all the time from them, but is there any particular nugget that they've given you that you think is valuable to share with other loan officers to help them kind of get to that next level?
I would say one of the most important things that I'm trying to teach other loan officers that's been the most beneficial for my business is a non-negotiable 2 hours a day I'm lead generating. 2 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. Fridays are flexible. You can lead gen or not, but if I can lead gen Monday through Thursday for 2 hours a day, and so I time block, typically it's 9 to 11 or 10 to 12, and I'm lead genning, and Mondays the focus is going to be my realtor relationships. Specific realtors I work with and realtors I'm trying to work with. Tuesdays are going to be my pre-approved clients, calling every single pre-approved client that I have and letting them know, checking in, asking how hunting is going, talking to their realtor, thanking them for the referral. Wednesdays is going to be lead genning with my database, and I'm calling every Wednesday. I'm calling, 2 letters of the alphabet, the last name. So if I started this Wednesday, it would be I'm calling everyone that's last name A and B, that starts with A and B in my database. And I'm thanking them for allowing me to help. I'm checking in, how's the house? And at the very end, I'm asking if they know anyone who's looking to buy, sell, or refinance. Each day is themed, so I don't feel overwhelmed that every day I have to go call realtors. Right. That feels overwhelming to me. But if I can, focus and set my time block for 2 hours a day of this is what I do it. And my I'm not checking emails. I'm not doing other things. I'm focused on that time. And then when I'm done, I'm done. Referral partners, they appreciate a process and a structure. So, the realtors I work with consistently, they know that on Mondays I'm going to call them. I'm not calling them and say, hey, you got any loans for me? I'm calling to check in. Hey, how was your weekend? How are you doing? Do you have any questions? And building that relationship. And then now they expect calls on Mondays. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that having a structure and a strategy obviously is a big part of your success, right? I mean, you've been very successful, and 2 hours a day doesn't sound like it's too crazy, but to be honest, most loan officers aren't doing it.
Yeah.
Aren't even
yeah,
doing
no,
that.
it's totally right. And I mean, if 2 hours sounds overwhelming, I tell our team, okay, start with half an hour or an hour. If you're new to the industry, maybe you're making more calls, maybe twice or three times a week you're calling realtors, because you need to get things going and build up some connections in your area. The other thing that I recommend people do is when they have a pre-approved client and they're sending out loan scenarios, take the extra 5 minutes and use a product like Loom or BombBomb, which is a video service where you can show a screen and you can video yourself on the side. And what I do is I have that on the screen, whatever I'm showing them. Congratulations, you're pre-approved. And then I click record and I basically walk them through in a video. I walk them through what they're looking at and I walk them through their pre-approval and whatever I need to communicate to them that's important. Maybe their max purchase price is $500. So assuming you have 5% down, you can go 400, 450, 500, but we need to make sure we stay below 500. Here's all three options. Here's the rates. Here's the everything. So you're going through all the important details in a video. Usually it's an outstanding, response, and they're like, wow, this guy sent us a video. And it also saves me time because then I do the video, a very thorough 5-minute video for everyone. So I do this for everyone, no exceptions. And, then I'll ask, hey, do you guys want to meet in person if they're local, and they usually say no. And I'm all down to meet, but, meetings usually take 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, I know, I get it. I like face-to-face, but, if you're stuck in meetings for 4 hours a day, like it gets hard to lead gen too, Take 5 minutes and do a customized video for them. That way you're not just the quote and hope guy, or gal, sending a quote and hoping they call you back or whatever,
I've not heard that, quote and hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that now. Coin it. Don't be the quote and hope guy. I'm going to jump back to your challenges now. You mentioned,
sure.
Having some challenges in terms of starting your own brokerage or even just operating your brokerage on the daily, right? So if somebody listening maybe is thinking they might want to open their own brokerage, what kind of hurdles can they expect to face?
It's a lot more expensive than I anticipated. Each state you have to have, different insurance policies, having staff, we offer 401k and then we have to deal with, taxes and there's a lot of things that have come up that, cost money. I would say at least get a couple years under your belt where you feel very comfortable with all aspects of the industry. Probably set aside a solid $75,000 to $100,000 so that when you launch your company, you have that in reserve. We've got it's like a third-party compliance department, very, very valuable to have. I recommend that to anyone who owns their mortgage company in any form. But there's costs associated to all those things. It costs more money than you think it will. So make sure you have a really good cushion so that if there's months where loans are slow and you see all this money going out the door for your monthly recurring expenses, you're not going to get freaked out.
Those expenses are coming through, compliance and taxes and doing things the right way. So,
yeah.
That speaks to having a plan, I would say, too, in terms of identifying all those things that you need to make sure that you are doing it the right way.
I don't feel like I was 100% ready to go and do it, but we figured it out. We're figuring it out. But, I'd say about 75% of the way we were pretty confident in. And then the other 25% was like, oh, okay, everything costs a lot more than I thought it would. But it is what it is, so...
Yeah. So do you regret it ever on any days, or you would go back and do it all again?
I would do it again. I think that I get a lot of fulfillment out of seeing loan officers grow.
You have a coach, but Sounds like you are a coach too.
Yeah.
At heart,
I feel like
you...
I feel like because of my position now, I'm trying to really pour into our loan officers. I think it's even more need for me to be plugged into an accountability type of coaching platform. So I'm part of the Mortgage Marketing Animals coaching platform there, and it's really good.
As soon as you think you've seen everything in mortgage, you haven't. What's something that kind of sticks out, either as like a feel-good story or something that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened?
I'd say recently, I was able to rescue a VA loan for a California client. The house that they were looking to get with the VA loan needed some Section 1 items cleared. And we do VA without needing Section 1 clearance. A lot of loan officers and realtors have always been taught that it's needed. And so the realtor, we've worked together quite a bit. So she called me and was like, hey, I'm pretty sure you can help here. Here's the situation. And so I was able to come in and explain to the borrowers that we don't require that, and that if they want to go for this house, I'd be happy to do the loan. I know it's your friend. Okay. But they were set on this house, and so they decided to move forward. They got in contract the same day. We're able to close it. It's clear to close today, actually, which is cool. So I'm going to call them and celebrate, and congratulations. Because without that, it does make me feel good because we're able to do something that most mortgage companies won't even touch, or entertain. And the seller wasn't willing to do the things needed to fix it. And so they weren't going to have like any type of deal there, and they really wanted the house. So that was a feel good one, but I'm sure I'll think of a crazy one as soon as we hang up.
Yeah.
We do some weird loans because, as a broker, we're connected to 35 wholesale banks, and each one has their own niche and products. So I do a lot of like no income type loans for investors. They're called DSCR loans. Those are really interesting. We have a lot of weird stuff out there, so that if we do get a client that doesn't fit the standard conforming loan box, then we have options. I don't have to say, oh, sorry, can't help. It's pretty rare, which is nice.
Yeah, so that's something that makes you a little bit different too, right? It sounds like you have a lot more to shop from.
Yeah, so we could shop rates, but beyond that, we have so many different products because each, we get to choose what banks we partner with. There's hundreds of wholesale banks we could partner with, but we've chosen, about 30, anywhere from 30 to 35 that we're actively partnered with for specific reasons. Some are for speed, conventional 800 credit or 750 credit. Great, we can get you clear to close in 7 days. And then other times it's, self-employed, multiple companies, they don't want to deal with that stuff and they're buying rentals in different states. Okay, great. Let's think about DSCR or bank statement loans or things like that are out of the box type of loans. So I use those two as examples, but it just gives our team more at-bats and gives me more at-bats, and it can help more people. And, and it's just different model, where I was at before in retail, great company, but, they didn't have all these extra products that I now have access to, that I can help and serve more people, which is nice.
Any extra words of wisdom or special sauce you've got to share?
I think attitude is a big thing. I know you see a lot of doom and gloom in the media, in social media. Housing market's crashing. It's not crashing. Okay, I can't tell the future, but I know that there's not enough inventory for it to crash. I think there's tremendous opportunity right now for people who are willing to buckle down and work hard. I think that I'm seeing the difference between very qualified agents and maybe agents that do this part-time or on the side. No offense to them, but maybe they don't have all the time they need or an active game plan to really push. Same thing for loans. If you can be disciplined, you can work for it, you can work hard and have a clear action plan of how you're going to grow your business, you can be successful in this market. And right now is a great time to push and grow, because if you can do it now, it's going to be 10 times easier when the market turns and becomes more favorable. Like
you said in the very beginning, people getting out of the business and some, little bit of doom and gloom feeling, but it's like, just hang in there. Like it's, the buyers are going to come around.
There's opportunity, and everything's cyclical. So I agree with you.
Yeah. Yep.
And when it's good, it's really good in our industry. It's fantastic, you know.
Yeah. Yep. Just hang in there. Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly appreciate you again coming on and sharing your wisdom with us. Again, Sean Aspenlind with Thrive Lending. And thanks so much for your time, Sean. Have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Melissa. Appreciate it.